In the world of love relationships, communication is the foundation that sustains the connection between two people. Think for a moment about what it would be like to live next to someone you love deeply, but who can't express their desires, insecurities, or fantasies. An uncomfortable silence takes over the relationship, and with it, frustration begins to set in. Sound familiar? Now imagine the opposite. A couple who talk openly, without fear of judgment, sharing even their most intimate thoughts. How could this change the dynamics of the relationship? The truth is that communication, when applied well, has the power to strengthen not only sex life, but also the emotional connection between partners. Talking about desires, fantasies, and even the deepest fears creates a bond of trust that transforms the relationship from the inside out. However, this exchange goes far beyond words. It involves looks, touches, and gestures that speak as much as any conversation. Have you ever thought about how small adjustments to the way you communicate can rekindle passion and bring more harmony to your relationship? In this video, we'll explore how to improve communication and intensify this essential connection. Get ready to discover techniques that will not only open doors for dialogue, but also create an environment where desire can flourish freely. Are you ready to transform your relationship through communication? Let's embark on this journey of discovery together. Active listening, the secret to truly understanding your partner. Active listening is a skill that can transform communication in a relationship. Instead of just hearing the words, paying attention to what your partner is actually saying is key. This involves not only listening, but also observing body language and tone of voice. When both partners dedicate themselves to listening with empathy, the connection deepens and conversations become more meaningful. A good practice is to ask open-ended questions that encourage your partner to express themselves more. Instead of asking, "Did you enjoy that?" which can be answered with a simple yes or no, a question like, "What did you think of that experience?" can lead to a richer discussion. This shows that you are interested in truly understanding what the other person feels, promoting a deeper dialogue about preferences and needs. In addition, active listening includes reflecting on what your partner has said. This means repeating or rephrasing the ideas that have been expressed to ensure that you have understood correctly. For example, you could say, "You mentioned that you'd like to try something new, right?" This not only demonstrates that you were paying attention, but also gives your partner the opportunity to clarify or expand on what they feel. Another important aspect of active listening is validating your partner's feelings. Even if you don't agree with everything that is said, recognizing that the other person's feelings are valid can make a big difference. Saying something like, "I understand why you feel this way," can help create a space where your partner feels respected and heard. This strengthens trust and promotes a safer environment for both of you to speak openly. Finally, practicing active listening is not just about listening, but really connecting. By devoting time and attention to what your partner is saying, you not only improve communication, but also strengthen emotional intimacy. This practice can lead to a deeper understanding of each other's needs and desires, which in turn can enrich your sex life and your relationship as a whole. Radical honesty can transform your relationship. When it comes to relationships, creating a safe space is essential so that people feel comfortable discussing their desires, limits, and fantasies. This means that both partner and partner must foster an environment where vulnerability is respected. When people are free to talk about what they really feel, the connection between them is strengthened. What's more, this openness can lead to surprising discoveries about the couple's sex life, allowing them to explore new possibilities together. Honesty is the key to this kind of communication. For partners to feel safe, they need to express their feelings and concerns clearly and respectfully. This doesn't mean it's always easy. In fact, it can be challenging. But by using a gentle and direct approach, it is possible to share thoughts without fear of judgment. For example, instead of saying, "You never listen to me," you could say, "I feel a bit ignored when we don't have time to talk about us." This small change in the way you express yourself can make all the difference. A useful technique is the I message, which allows the person to talk about their feelings without accusing the other person. When using this technique, the focus is on how a specific situation affects you, rather than on criticizing your partner's behavior. In this way, communication becomes more effective and less defensive, opening up space for a more productive dialogue. This approach helps to cultivate a climate of trust, where you both feel valued and listened to. It's also important to remember that openness and honesty are not limited to heavy topics. Talking about desires, fantasies, and even what you don't like is also part of this process. These conversations can be light and fun, creating a deeper bond between the couple. The intention is for both of you to feel comfortable sharing your visions and expectations, increasing emotional and sexual intimacy. Ultimately, by establishing this foundation of openness and honesty, the relationship becomes stronger and more resilient. The ability to openly discuss what each person wants and needs is fundamental to a healthy relationship. This not only improves sex life, but also the emotional connection between partners, making the relationship more satisfying as a whole. Positive language, the way to strengthen your connection. When it comes to communication in a relationship, using positive language can make all the difference. Instead of criticizing your partner, it's essential to focus on how to reinforce behaviors that are appreciated. For example, instead of saying, "You never listen to me," a more constructive approach would be, "I like it when you pay attention to me. It makes me feel valued." This simple change can transform the mood of the conversation, making it more receptive and productive. Giving constructive feedback is a skill that can be developed with practice. It's important to remember that when approaching a sensitive subject, words can carry significant weight. Using expressions that show gratitude and recognition helps to create a supportive environment. For example, instead of pointing out what isn't working, try to highlight what is going well and how this can be expanded. This not only validates the partner's efforts, but also makes room for suggestions for improvement in a more harmonious way. Positive language also extends to the way we approach our own feelings. When expressing needs or desires, using phrases that begin with "I" can help prevent the other person from feeling attacked. Something like, "I'd like to try something new together," is much more effective than "You never try anything different." This approach promotes healthy dialogue and reduces defensiveness. Another aspect to consider is reinforcing desired behaviors. When your partner does something you appreciate, don't hesitate to express it. A simple, "I loved it when you did that," can not only strengthen the other person's self-esteem, but also encourage them to repeat the action. This creates a positive cycle of communication and behavior, where you both feel more secure and satisfied in the relationship. Finally, creating a supportive atmosphere goes beyond words. The way you communicate also includes tone of voice and body language. A smile, a kind look, and a loving touch can complement the positive message you want to convey. In this way, positive language becomes a powerful tool for strengthening bonds and creating a safe space for both of you to express yourself. New approaches. How to rekindle the flame of passion. Exploring new approaches in your sex life can be an exciting adventure for a couple. It is essential to understand that routine can often become an obstacle to intimacy. That's why introducing new activities not only diversifies experiences, but also encourages communication. For example, a couple might decide to set aside one night a month to try something different, be it a new location, a new position, or even a new type of massage. An interesting suggestion is to include games that encourage interaction and discovery. There are several board games aimed at couples that encourage conversation and intimacy. In addition, intimate dialogue cards can help break the ice and provoke discussions about desires and fantasies that may not have come up before. The important thing is that these activities are seen as an opportunity to connect, not an obligation. Another way to diversify your sex life is by exploring fantasies. Talking about what each person would like to try can open doors to new experiences. This discussion can be done in a light-hearted way, where each person presents their ideas and the two of you choose together what might be interesting. The essential thing is that both parties feel comfortable and respected during this process. What's more, the introduction of new experiences doesn't have to be limited to what happens in the bedroom. Planning a romantic date outside the home or having a heart-to-heart talk during a walk can create a favorable climate for new ideas to emerge. This change of scenery can help bring freshness to the relationship and provide a more relaxed environment for communication. Finally, it's important to remember that exploration should be done at a pace that suits both of you. There's no need to rush things. Everyone should feel free to suggest and experiment while respecting their partner's limits. This openness to new approaches, combined with honest communication, can lead to a more satisfying and enriching relationship for both of you. Conflict management. Turn disagreements into growth. When it comes to relationships, it's natural for disagreements to arise, especially on issues related to sexuality. The first thing to remember is that conflicts are not necessarily bad. They can be an opportunity for growth and mutual understanding, as long as they are managed in a healthy way. To do this, it is essential to adopt techniques that help resolve these situations without hurting each other's feelings. Clear and respectful communication is the key to finding solutions. One of the most effective strategies is to take a step back and breathe. This means that, when identifying a conflict, the couple can give themselves time to reflect on the situation before broaching the subject. Sometimes, the tension of the moment can cloud judgment, and a pause can help clarify thoughts. During this time, everyone can consider their emotions and what they really want to express, avoiding impulsive reactions that can aggravate the situation. When the time comes to discuss, it's important that each partner feels safe to share their perspectives. This involves creating a space in which you can both speak without fear of being judged. Using I instead of you can be a good approach. For example, instead of saying, "You never listen to me," you could say, "I feel ignored when I don't get your attention." This change of language helps prevent the other person from feeling attacked and opens up a channel for dialogue. In addition, it is essential to actively listen to what your partner is saying. This means not only listening to the words, but also paying attention to the emotions behind them. Conflicts are often not just about the issue itself, but also about feelings of insecurity, fear, or desire. Reflecting back what you have heard can be an effective way of showing that you are really paying attention and interested in understanding the other person's perspective. Finally, it's important to remember that resolving conflicts is not a race. Sometimes it can take time to reach a solution that suits both of you. It's normal to have disagreements, but the aim is to work together to find a middle ground. With patience and empathy, you can turn disagreements into opportunities to strengthen your relationship, creating an even stronger bond between the two of you. Now that we've explored techniques for improving communication in relationships, it's time to put what we've discussed into practice. Remember, communication doesn't just happen with words, but with gestures, looks, and touches. Have you ever thought about the power that a simple gesture of affection can have in moments of tension? How about starting today? Take a moment out of your day to have a heart-to-heart talk with your partner. Ask about your desires and insecurities without fear of judgment. After all, it's in vulnerability that true connection is born. Also, challenge yourself to use positive language and active listening, two tools that can transform any dialogue. What do you have to lose? On the contrary, you only stand to gain. More understanding, more complicity, and an even stronger intimacy. And if you feel that words aren't flowing, remember that body language can be a powerful ally in expressing what's in your heart. What are you going to do differently from now on? Leave your experiences and share your doubts in the comments. Every couple is unique, and this journey of self-discovery will only get richer. Don't forget, practice makes perfect, and the more you communicate, the closer you'll be to a full and satisfying relationship. So, which techniques are you going to try out today? If you liked the video, like it and share it with that person who needs to hear it. See you next time.